What's going on, guys? So this video is only going to be for those that are part of Techbud Solutions. So although it is a live stream, only those that are part of Techbud Solutions are going to be able to actually tune in. We've done this before, and I just wanted to make sure that leading up to this upcoming week, there's been a lot of FAQs that I've been getting about like how to break down stocks and do I see value in this. So I think it's much more efficient for you and then for myself to just dedicate time for me to go live and then break them down in real time. So for all those that were breaking down stocks or asking for me to break down stocks, yeah, so let's go ahead and check this out. All right, so I just want to make sure that every stock that is called out is provided in the ticker symbol format. So if that's not too much to ask, there's a couple people breaking down or asking for me to break down a couple different stocks. Let's just make sure that we put them in the right ticker symbol format. So Ricky, I've been hearing Wednesday will be a big day for the dollar. Not something that I've looked into at all. So what judgment or what news have you heard, or what's gonna happen to act as a catalyst for overall price increases within that time? I'm going to minimize my screen just so you guys can see. Let's see, we'll go right here. And then the chat's right there, so perfect. All right, let's start breaking down a couple stocks. All I need you guys to do is, again, and Jeff, you're watching quite a bit of different stocks, and I just want to make sure that we focus on one stock and that every stock is posted in the ticker symbol format. So what do I mean by that? This format that you see right here. So they put the support and the resistance level, the ticker symbol, the desired entry point, sell point, and then why it has potential. So to break down this one for this individual, so AEZS, so we could go here, go to AEZS. As you guys can see, I try to focus on three things. I try to ask myself three questions every single time that, am I getting a good deal for this specific ticker itself? So one thing that I have noticed with this specific stock is that it has been showing signs of a descending pattern. Recently, it broke above the SMA, and it's been trying to make the higher highs that you guys can see right here. I would, because it's so overbought, you can see that the RSI indicator, you can see that the MACD indicator is also starting to show signs of some form of peak potential, and it's also approaching a previous support level, right, around 220, that has been known as a new resistance level. So in my opinion, I would think that this thing is a little bit more on the overbought side. It's not such a good deal, and it would be expected for this thing to pull back and bounce right around the SMA line. Now, does it need to pull back? 100% no. And what we can do is, if you like the uptrend pattern, and if the momentum is there, and if the demand is there, and it continues to rally, then set your alerts. Set your alerts for when this thing makes higher highs, and if the rally continues, then I would treat it as a day trade. I still think it's too overextended for that swing trade potential, and as you guys know, this all happens all within one day, and then it pushes back. That's a lot of volatility, that's a lot of risk, and that's why I don't trade stocks like this themselves. But if you're someone that feels comfortable trading that, I'm not anyone to say that you can't. So I would set your alerts here, but I would also set your alerts for a pullback, as that would be more of a technical standpoint on why you would wait for a pullback confirmation, wait for the reversal, and then try to get a better buy entry at that specific price point. So I hope that makes sense for AEZS. All right, so we got Josh calling out Apple. Thank you again for putting it in the ticker symbol format. So Apple's desired entry point, support and resistance desired. Okay, I still think that looking at this 180-day analysis, and Josh, if you don't mind participating as well, do you see why I think that this is way overextended, right? In the past 180 days, this is showing signs of it being way on the overbought side rather than it being a good deal, right? And if we're trying to look for good deals, it made sense when we called out Apple and it was at around $165. We called it out when it was at that price point because it made sense that it would normally bounce around this general area, right? But as it pushed up and it became more overextended, it's not valued as such a good deal. So the margin of profit that it has yet to cover is not as much. Does that make sense? It 100% can, as long as that momentum and that rally continues. But based on previous patterns, it would almost make, so what we can do is we can do one of two things. We can set our alerts for the break above 190, and if it continues that rally for whatever news comes out and it acts as a positive catalyst, then we can take action right away, right? But if it starts to pull back, again, this is the SMA indicator, which has previously acted as a support. We'll set an alert here for when it pulls back, and if we can get a pullback confirmation, again, at these lower ranges, maybe at around 175 if it validates that as a support, and then it could be trading between 175 to 190, or if it pulls back all the way right back down to 165. Again, we're going to have to give it time. There's 3 stages in the reversal, right? There's the rejection, the consolidation, and again, the one that I like to enter in, the confirmation, right? So when it starts to confirm the uptrend pattern. So there's these 3 stages that you have to understand that it takes for the stock to actually reverse, especially something like a multi-billion-dollar company such as Apple. So I have my alert set for a pullback. I have my alert set if it continues the uptrend rally, and I think that's a pretty proper setup. So thank you again, Josh, for calling it out. Next ticker is AU. So AU is showing signs of a continuous downward pattern. I personally would say stay away from this, right? Strong downward pattern, yes, it is showing signs of an uptrend, and yes, it can get rejected close to or near to that SMA indicator, but it would make more sense on why this would, continue to descend, and especially if you're having a difficult time staying green on a consistent basis, I would personally stay away from this. Again, if you want to grow your account, then you want to invest in patterns that are showing signs of a continuous uptrend, and this definitely does not show that. Does that make sense? So yes, it does show the potential for this thing to go from like $8.50 to about the SMA indicator, which is about 6%. But there's a lot more there's a lot more stocks that are actively trending up that offer that same margin, which risk is much less, right? And that's the whole point of you doing your due diligence and your technical analysis, is that you break down so many different stocks and you see so many different areas of opportunity, but you focus on the one that offers like the lowest amount of risk and the one that you see the most value in. So thank you. What is that? Okay, thank you again for calling it out. What's going on? So DRIP. I had a lot of questions about DRIP due to this reversal that it's been showing, something that it hasn't done in a very long time, right? It's still actively trending down below the SMA indicator. It does look overextended, right? And looking at /CL, which is a feature that I use to try to, decide if it's actively if it's going to reverse or anything like that. Right now, DRIP is showing signs of a continuous uptrend pattern, right? So what I'm going to do is I think this thing can continue with its momentum, but I would focus on solely day trading it because the downward pattern has been so consistent that it's too risky based on its previous almost 3-4 months of a continuous downward pattern. It's too risky for me to see any value to swing trade this. There's a lot of area of opportunity for day trade that it played out on even, on Friday, right? From the middle view up to the top view up. That's over 5%. And then after it did that, it started to descend. So let's be picky with where we choose to enter, especially when it comes down to when trading something that has been, has such a prominent history of a downward pattern. So I do see value in this one, but as solely a day trade. I do think that it can pull back as well, and that's why I think it's somewhat pretty risky. So what I would do is one of two things. If you see that it's actively uptrending intraday, that makes sense. Treat it as a day trade. I like to trade it in between the middle view up and the bottom and the top view up, right? You can set your alerts for when it makes higher highs, and that would make a lot of sense. But if it starts to pull back, don't force your entry. If it starts to pull back and you're trying to get in at the bottom view up and stuff like that, again, this is one because it's a descending pattern that it would not make a lot of sense to focus on trying to buy on the bottom VWAP when it's something that has such an aggressive descending pattern. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Sweet. So REFG. So REFG, again, asking myself, does this look like a good deal? Looking at where it normally peaks out at, like right around here to around 80 cents, it does not look like it's a good deal, right? Also, the volume doesn't look to be very high, and it's a very low cap stock. This is personally not something that I would ever invest in, but when it comes down to the technicals, right, I could see that it's definitely much more on the overbought side than oversold, right? Do you see like the support? You can see the support right around here. So it's almost like this horizontal pattern, right? Boom, boom, boom. And it would make sense on, this thing can 100% go to about, what is that, 8 cents, maybe 9 cents, and then fully get rejected right back down. It's just, again, like reminding yourself, is it worth taking the risk of entering here? Is it worth taking the risk of entering here, which then you can possibly sell here and then get rejected? Like, yeah, that margin of profit is worth it. But what would make more sense is to set your alerts, wait for a pullback, try to find a better deal closer to the 2 cent price point, wait for it to validate that support, and then enter at that position. That would make much more sense because not only does the pattern make sense, but you're also getting in for a good deal. Yes, it does require discipline. Yes, it does mean that you can't enter the position anytime really soon because it's going to take time for it to pull back. But that's why it's so important to focus on quality. So what I'm going to do is, just for the sake of the team, is I'm going to set my alert for the break below 3 cents, and then we could follow up with it. I'll set my alert for the break above 8 cents, right? Just for the heck of it, to stay up to date on wherever it is that this ends up, performing. So, okay, so AMAT, right? Showing signs of a descending resistance. Let's make sure that we understand that. Descending SMA, which acts as a resistance. It's showing signs of validating the support line, right, at around $50. That makes sense. And it's showing signs of an uptrend pattern. So now we have this margin to capitalize on, right? About 4.17%. I 100% see value in this. Let's make sure that that you take into consideration that it does offer a descending pattern. And if it breaks this support, I would cut losses. I would cut losses at that price point. So I'm going to set my alert here. I'm going to keep it very simple. And I'm gonna, right now it's showing signs of an uptrend pattern. So as long as it continues that rally, as long as it continues, again, looking at the previous characteristic of the specific stock when it shows signs of an uptrend pattern, let's make sure we take that into consideration when looking at this and what can possibly happen and the characteristics of the specific stock to make sure that we understand that we don't freak ourselves out if it's a pullback or a break of pattern or if it's something completely abnormal, right? So I think that this one does have potential for it to continue to uptrend, and the margin of profit is somewhat attractive. But the only unattractive part about this is that descending resistance, as that could act as a form of risk, but there's always risk, right? So, whoa. So AES by Chandler. What's going on, man? All right, so very simple. Again, asking yourself, are you getting a good deal? Yes, it's showing signs of an uptrend, but this thing is way overextended. Way overextended. It would make much more sense on why it would be a better buy when it pulls back, again, consolidates, reverses, and bounces at around the SMA line. That's where it would be much more attractive and a much more better deal to buy the specific ticker. Keeping it that simple, I would say, this is not in any part or in any way something that I would invest in anytime soon. Ticker symbol I. Way overextended. Guys, and this is something that you guys can, do you guys see what it is that I'm doing? That a lot of people are calling out stocks that are way overbought, and it's because either they've been actively trending up or they've been manipulated and they're way overpriced, right? This is a perfect example of why you should always ask yourself, are you getting a good deal? For others, that's the whole point of this video, for you guys to see how I break things down, how I like my whole thought process, and just keeping it within Techbud Solutions. So many people are calling out stocks that are so overbought. They're not good deals, right? It would make sense on why this thing would get rejected. Again, just thinking about what can happen, what most likely will happen. Look how overextended this is. It would make sense on why this would get rejected, start to trend down, and then reverse back up. And that takes time. And understanding those patterns are very important so you don't get into a position when it's way overbought and then losing all that money, right? So let's talk about Tesla. So Brian calling out Tesla. So Brian, decent call out, right? Definitely at the support line. I have my alert set at 280, right? Showing signs of this reversal pattern, this horizontal pattern that it's been showing, right? Definitely makes sense. As of right now, no signs of an uptrend pattern. It's not making higher highs. Remember, 3 stages of a reversal. And this, I'm really happy that I made that video within the Techbud Solutions page or within our YouTube channel, is because, again, there's the rejection, there's the consolidation, and then there's the confirmation, the uptrend. And right now we have no confirmation of an uptrend, so it wouldn't make sense on why to invest in this. So with your plan of your buy at 278, I still think that's way too low. I would even wait closer to like, 282, 285, confirming that it's actively trending up. It's worth to wait, to be patient, to confirm that it's actively trending up and that you didn't get in too early. I hope that makes sense. Again, I like to invest in something when the EMA line, I like to be fully invested in something when the EMA line and the direction of the EMA line on this 180-day 4-hour chart, when that EMA line is pointing up. Because if it's pointing up, it's showing signs of an uptrend pattern, right? And that's what I want my account to do. I want it to grow. We already broke down AMAT. Did we not? Yeah, we just broke this one down. Of course, Josh. DYAS. So a lot of people were asking me. Obviously, I trade DYAS like almost every single week. Like, Ricky, would you swing trade this? No. And the reason why is that DYAS has been getting rejected at the EMA line, and it did not confirm the direction. Again, what direction is this EMA line pointing? It's down. It wouldn't make sense. Look at all these alerts that I have right here. I'm going to set another one right here, right around 2350, to confirm that overall uptrend, right? So with that being said, I would not invest in it now. I needed to confirm a reversal pattern. Until then, there's nothing wrong when I think that it's oversold, just like we did on Friday. When I think it's oversold, I can 100% treat it as a day trade. And there's huge margins there. But as a swing trade, it just would not make sense as of right now. And that's mainly what you're calling it out as, right? With that margin that you called it out with the support at 22, resistance at 25. There's no signs of an uptrend pattern right now. So your entry point, you said 23. I would even wait till like maybe part of your entry can be at 23, but I would wait till maybe 2350 because that's when most likely the direction of the EMA line will completely change at that price point. So great call out. It's just something that we'll have to follow up with. And again, for those that don't know, I have my active swing trade watch list, and DYAS should not be there because it's not actively trending up. And you can see that it's in my pending reversals, right? I have a watch list that's pending reversals, stocks that I see a lot of value in that are showing signs of a potential reversal but haven't reversed just yet. So I have a watch list just for that. I have a watch list for ETFs, and I have a general watch list, which is a pool of stocks that I have, of all the stocks that I have, right? And those are the ones that I break down once a week, that I go down the list. BIDU. So BIDU, okay, this makes sense. So the thing with this is that the reason that I say that this makes sense is like, okay, it was way overextended, it pulled back, right? It's not such a bad deal anymore, and it's showing some signs of consolidation. Again, 3 stages of a reversal: rejection, consolidation, and then confirmation. We still don't have confirmation right now because it's not making higher highs. It made one new high, and then it's pulling back a little bit. I would like for this thing to start showing signs of an uptrend pattern. So what we can do is we can set our alerts. I do think that it might take some time. I don't know the characteristic of the specific stock itself. So let's look at the volume. Volume is not bad, but and it makes sense on why it would bounce here. So again, there's a reason for my entry. It's right around the SMA line. It's right around 240, which is acting as support. It's consolidating. It would make sense on when it confirms the uptrend, it starts to make higher highs, why I would enter, right? That makes sense. There's a reason for what it is that I'm doing. I'm not just entering it for the sake of it. It makes sense. There's a pattern there. And yet every action that you take when it comes down to one of your investments should make sense. So I'm going to set a series of alerts just because I think that this one's going to be pretty important. I'm also going to set an alert if there's a complete breakout pattern, just to completely wait for it. So BIDU is now in my pending reversals, and it makes sense with the margin, even from around, let's say we wait all the way to 250. From 250 even to the resistance, the conservative resistance of about 270, that's about 8%. The reason I'm saying 270 is this is a price point where it's hit a little bit more often than it would be great if it does end up hitting highs of 285, but that's also way overextended, right? I want to be conservative and realistic, and I think that this is a much more realistic resistance for it to hit. 8% is not bad, right? And you can see the characteristic of multiple times that it's hit that price point before. We need to wait for the confirmation for the reversal, and that's what I'm going to do right over here. So we can do an average up approach or just wait on for a full-on confirmation. Again, what direction is that EMA line pointing? And right now, it's consolidated. It's not really pointing up. And yeah, so great call out. I definitely do see a lot of value in it. So as it's hung in win, great call out. Let's see. So what's up, Ricky? New member here in my. What's the ticker symbol? Is it PETS? I don't know if that's even your ticker symbol. Can you please confirm that with me? Okay, well, if it is showing signs of an uptrend with the overall resistance around the SMA indicator. So that's great, but just watch out for that resistance. It does offer about almost a 10% margin, so that's not unattractive. It makes sense on the pullback confirmation close to the EMA line on why that would make somewhat of a good entry. So HK showing signs of a rejection, got rejected by the SMA indicator, showing signs of a descending pattern. Yes, it does have a support right around 450, but as of right now, it just doesn't make sense on why it would be a good investment as of right now. So, you know, yeah, as of right now, it just wouldn't make much sense why this would be a good investment. So, and it's a descending pattern, which I don't find very attractive. So DIN. Okay, the volume is a little weird on this one. Okay. So again, it's getting rejected right now. So there's 100% no way that I would invest in it right now. There is a horizontal support that it's previously had. Do you see this support line? And again, I'm just looking at patterns. Do you see this consolidation that it's had here before when it pulled back and it would consolidate? It would almost make sense on why it would try to consolidate here. And then again, if we wait for the break above the SMA for it to continue that uptrend pattern, that would make sense, right? So let's set those alerts. Let's set those alerts. So I like this. And it would make sense on why from 70 to the resistance at 80, which it's hit twice, would be about 15%, about 14.77. Great call out. So I'm going to add this one to my, right now I'm going to, okay, I'll add it to my pending reversal. I was almost going to add it to my just general watch list. So, all right. Oh man, you guys have quite a bit of call outs. I like it. No, I really do. And I want to thank you guys. So this is all only members that are part of Techbud Solutions. And I really want to thank you guys for first investing time and seeing value in our free group. And the second thing is taking time out of your Sunday and your Memorial Day weekend and joining me in these breakdowns. I really do appreciate it. So, and this video is not going to go live to YouTube. I wanted to keep it, I think because some people might be discouraged to ask any questions that they might see as like dumb or stupid and stuff like that. And this is the time where I just want it to be our group comes together on a weekly basis, besides the Sunday Stock Talk and besides my Learn Plan Profit group, that I just work with the Techbud Solutions group and we just break down stocks together as a team. Forget about what everyone else is saying. We're not going to post it live. It's just, we're not going to post it to the YouTube, right? We're just going to keep it an unlisted video, so only those that are part of Techbud Solutions can review it and watch it live. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I just want to make sure that we focus on quality and that we encourage people to ask any questions, regardless if you find them to be, not the best questions or not. So, ARQL. Not a good deal. Way overextended. It would make more sense on why this thing would pull back a little bit further right around this price point right here. So I would wait a little bit more for a pullback confirmation and for a bounce around the SMA indicator. Does that make sense though? It's way on the overextended side. And it's not looking like such a good deal. So for that, I mean, I think it's a good call out. It's showing signs of an uptrend pattern. You can set your alerts if it breaks higher highs, but as of right now, not much value in that. Sweet. I still have my TMUS position? Yes, I do. Again, and that was somewhat of a mistake because, again, it's in the consolidation phase. It's not in the confirmation phase, right? So the confirmation would be more of like when it breaks above like $58, showing signs of an uptrend pattern. So AMD, great call out. So I used to trade that all the time, not really much anymore. Way overextended. And it's very easy to see this, guys. Look at previous patterns. Look at, it's not even previous patterns because I know that term might be confusing. Just keep it simple. Look at the price ranges in the past 180 days. Look at the price ranges in the past year and ask yourself, is this a high point or a low point? It's pretty high. It doesn't, it plays around much more around this price point than it does here. So why would it make sense to buy up here? It wouldn't. Yes, it does have potential to continue to uptrend, but then that's a small potential for a much larger form of risk involved. And if we, again, just keep it simple and focus on, okay, well, it would be a much better buy right around the $10 price point when it reverses, then let's do that. Let's set our alerts, and then let's try to find stocks that are at around that support level that are still good deals. So great call out. It's just not at the price point of where, I might want it to be right now. It's 100% overbought. Yeah, it does have the potential to continue to uptrend, but it's 100% way on the overbought side. You can even see with the RSI indicator. Okay, so GRPN showing signs of a potential support. Again, it's in the rejection phase. What we can do is, wait for the overall reversal. So I'm going to set my alert for the break above 480 and then follow up within that. So as of right now, it's not showing signs of an uptrend pattern, and it wouldn't make sense on why to invest in it as of right now. Obviously, it had a huge push with its overall volume or momentum from its positive catalyst for its earnings, and then it just started to die out. So let's make sure we take that into consideration as well. ATVI. Again, not a good deal right now. It tends to be a much better deal right around the $62, $64 price point. It's showing more sense of a resistance, like rejection at around this price point. So it makes sense on why closer to around 66 it would be a better buy. So I'm going to set my alert here. And again, just so you guys can see the low points and the high points that I see, I'm going to draw a support line right here. Do you see this? Do you see this? All this consolidation around this price point? And I'm going to draw more of a resistance line right around, in reality, maybe like 70. No, but that's still too high, around 72. The reason I'm saying 72, this is a price point of where it hits most often. And again, being conservative, that's what I want to focus on. Yes, it does have potential to hit highs of 74, 75, but it doesn't hit it as often. ARDX. Still continuous downward pattern in my honest opinion, and you can answer this, Raul. Are you struggling to stay green consistently? And if you are, I would focus less on trying to buy at the very bottom and focus on descending patterns. Like, descending patterns are not very consistent, and there's a huge form of risk involved when trading them. I would stay away from this, and I would focus more on an uptrend pattern. So Ricky, curious on what you saw in /GC. Well, I saw that reversal or /GC. I think we talked about that already in the Learn Plan Profit group, Don. It's that pattern of this rejection that it has at that resistance, and then it would make sense on why /GC would get rejected, sell off, and then do this reversal again. So then it would make sense on why then JDST would show signs of a potential recovery. But as of right now, I mean, we still need to wait for that confirmation. So AMDA, I feel like we broke that one down already. Strong downward pattern. I would completely stay away from this. Again, guys, it just doesn't make sense on why to invest in something like this, right? It gets manipulated very often. It's a strong downward pattern. I would just stay away. Okay, so PETS, we did break it down, and yeah, so it did offer that 6% margin if I'm not mistaken. So LABU is being called out by Maple. So LABU, showing signs of a little bit on the overbought side, right? It has been trying to continue its uptrend pattern, but again, this is why I saw value in something like LABD, which is the inverse of it, because it was more of a support and it made more sense on waiting for the confirmation that this thing has much more margin to cover. So based on your call out, one thing that I would look for is if it's going to continue to make higher highs, I would keep the $95 resistance into consideration, and if it breaks above that, then great. That's a confirmation that it can make higher highs, as well as right now, it's doing some form of consolidation right around $90. and it would, if it continues the uptrend pattern, then great, it can cover from 90 to 95, which is about a 5 to 6 margin of profit. So let's set those alerts, and if it continues that uptrend rally, then it 100% makes sense on why we should focus on LEBU into consideration of LEBD. So. Oh, no worries. Ticker symbol S. Downward pattern, guys. And I know, like, I'm just gonna try to, and it does make sense. Like, this one's showing more signs of consolidation. Oh, this is also Sprint, a multi-billion-dollar company, if I'm not mistaken. Probably one of the worst telecommunication companies as of right now. But it would make sense on why it can push up. It's a strong descending pattern. It's just a risk that I'm not willing to take, right? And again, just focus on uptrend patterns. That's what I feel like. If you haven't done that already and you've been experiencing so many consistent red trades, then just give it a shot, especially with paper trading or simulation trading. Focus on stocks that are showing signs of an ascending uptrend pattern, that are good deals, and that the margin of profits are worth it. Keeping it that simple. And this is the whole point of this. This is like one of the few times that, so this is the second video that we've done these private Techbud Solutions chat. My goal is, now the people within Learn Plan Profit, because I do this on a daily basis with them, every single day at market open, right? They are so well versed that the call outs for stocks that are showing signs of a decent pattern are very minimal, because everyone now understands. So as of right now, a lot of people might not have been aware that, maybe investing in descending patterns aren't, the best investments. So that is why I'm here, to provide that exposure, to plant that seed on why it's not, the best to invest in descending patterns. So moving on forward, less and less people will make that mistake. Will we always have people that do that? Most likely. And there'll be people that can make money off of this. But as of right now, when getting started, to get the ball rolling, let's focus on quality. Okay, so FBIO showing signs of a potential reversal. Again, the three stages of a reversal reversal pattern: rejection, consolidation. So I still think that this thing needs to consolidate a little bit, and then overall confirmation. I'm going to set my alert for the break above 380. So when it breaks above that, the direction of the EMA line will obviously be pointing up, and it would make much more sense on why this thing would start to cover its overall margin. First resistance would be right around 440, and then the next one would be right around $5, and then 550 based on this standard. So we can draw all those resistance lines. So these are the ranges that I see, right? Okay, so yeah, thank you again for the call out. This will be available to watch afterwards because it won't load for me and it's still buffering. Yeah, so it's going to be available, and I'm going to post it in a specific channel. So as of right now, I'll post it in the announcement section for, I'll keep it there. So after this uploads, you'll always be able to access this in the Techbud Solutions announcement section. So I'll have it, I thought I had a, I'm gonna have to create a channel for it because that's what we have within Learn Plan Profit. So Learn Plan Profit, since we go live every single day, we have a morning live chat channel, and everyone can always come back and rewatch this. They're unlisted videos because we go live every single day. So that's what I would like to have once a week for Techbud Solutions, to make sure that everyone's up to date on kind of what's been going on. So thanks, Ricky, MIK. Sweet. I think you guys like the idea of having this only available for, the Techbud Solutions members. Okay. So you can direct message me. So obviously you're part of the Techbud Solutions Discord chat. So all you have to do is direct message me here, and then you're more than welcome to ask me any questions that you might have. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to do about 5 more breakdowns, and then we're going to call it a day, if that's okay. So MIK. So MIK showing signs of consolidation. Again, no signs of an uptrend. 3 stages of a reversal, and that's something that we still need to wait out for. It's not making higher highs, and that's a huge red flag, right? Especially with its upcoming earnings report right here. It just wouldn't make sense on why this would be the best investment. Again, the best investment as of right now. We had quite a bit of people calling out TVIX. TVIX, strong downward pattern. Guys, like, again, let's just keep it simple. Yes, if it starts to confirm an uptrend pattern and you want to take that risk, it makes sense. There is no signs of a reversal just yet. So why is this the best call out this week? It's not showing any signs of a reversal. Again, 3 stages. Sweet. I like how pumped you guys are. So, okay, so H, Z, and P. Way overbought. Not a good deal, right? And the volume is pretty low if I'm not mistaken. Not too low, but yeah, way overbought. It would be a much better deal right around 13.50 when it reverses. So not the best call it as of right now. Okay, so SMA support, again, it's not confirming the uptrend pattern. I would set your alerts for the break above like maybe 17.50. And when it does that overall reversal, it would make sense on why that would be a potential good investment. So ticker symbol CY. Thanks again. I actually think yeah. So CY, it broke above the SMA indicator, but again, the SMA indicator should be acting as a resistance. And as of right now, it's too early to tell, right? Like it was previously getting rejected by the SMA indicator, which is this green line, and now it pushed above it. But it's right now at the price point where it still can get rejected. So right now it's too early for me to tell, and I would like to follow up with it later throughout this week if that's okay. So BRS, all right, we're going to do these last callouts, so please no more callouts, and that's going to be it. So way on the oversold side, makes sense, had an earnings negative catalyst, right? Let's set those alerts. Set those alerts for overall reversal, and until we get that confirmation, then let's wait out for that. So Jacob, I don't understand your call out. So you're saying that it's not overbought, and then right over here, and again, I'm just trying to understand. I don't know if you're obviously not talking about AMD. Okay, you're talking about ATN. So ATN, it's showing signs of why it would get rejected at around this price point. It's been rejected multiple times before. Yes, it's consolidating, but again, there is a time factor that this needs for it to confirm and start actually actively trending up. And right now it's not doing that. It's been even struggling to break above 640, right? That's been acting as too much of a resistance. The demand just isn't there. Yes, I do think that with time, it can potentially start to reverse back up once the SMA line starts to curve, right? So thinking about how long this takes for this thing to actually start to curve and point back up, look where it's at right now. It would make sense on why this thing would have to go like that, like that, like that, like that, and then it would start to overall, complete that reversal. So I just think it's going to take too much time for this to be even a focus this week. So again, it's just not the best deal as of right now, I think. So, and I hope that makes sense. What's going on, Luis? Appreciate that. Thank you again, Michael. Appreciate that. I'm really happy to hear that you guys like these live breakdowns, because the thing, and I hope you guys understand that, like, as my YouTube channel gets bigger, and no, of course, thank you again, Jacob. First of all, I love, some people might be saying like, well, Jacob, and I'm just saying this because probably some other people are saying like, why are you saying things back to Ricky? That's something that I want to encourage. I mean, not being disrespectful or anything like that, right? You guys don't have to say like, oh, Ricky, you're trash. Come on, everyone already knows that. But what I mean is, like, I like that Jacob was giving me like a back and forth, right? Because he actually saw value in a certain way, and I'm just here. We're here to like network with one another, and it makes sense. And it means that he has some form of understanding of what he perceives as a good deal, and that's what I'm here to assist. So my goal is for you guys to have the same thing with me. It's to have some form of counter arguments on why you validate, these certain deals. And I just wanted to make sure that you guys understood that as our group, approaches the over 100,000 member mark, and as our group continues to grow, I need to start implementing a series of things that mean don't bring down the overall quality of the group. And I'm 100% aware that, based on my understanding, And this has happened even with the Learn Plan Profit group because we're growing at such a rapid pace. And I like the reminders that you guys send me, like, hey Ricky, like I think like you need to be doing maybe this and this within Techbud Solutions or Learn Plan Profit, because the group is growing too fast and the quality is dying out. And those reminders are what help me stay on edge. And I have a whole team that helped me out with Techbud Solutions and Learn Plan Profit especially. And those teams are more for growth. And one thing that I've told each one of those teams is that I want you guys do your thing, but I'm here to focus on my group, right? Both Techbud Solutions and Learn Plan Profit, and to provide quality for those members. And when I see that there are a series of members that are bringing others down, or there's a series of things going on in Techbud Solutions or Learn Plan Profit that I'm not aware of, a simple message, direct message to me could simply fix that. If you see an issue with our community in any way, like a real issue, right? Or something that you think that I can improve, please direct message me. Please direct message Justin. Please direct message any of the admins, right? But especially me or Justin, because we're not biased, right? We're here to, it makes sense on why we're here trying to provide quality info for the overall group. And if you guys can, maybe invest 1 minute whenever it is that you do see an area of opportunity to message me. Keep it simple. Be like, hey Ricky, I really like what you did here, but maybe if you do this, then I think it could provide much more value for the beginners, maybe for the advanced traders, for all areas, right? Or any suggestions for like admins or anything like that. Anything. I just want to thank you guys again for all the time that you guys invest within Techbud Solutions and Learn Plan Profit, and I can't thank you guys enough, right? I just want to remind you guys that as we continue to grow, I don't want it to be like, I've noticed where other individuals that have, even smaller groups than us, we're one of the largest private trading communities out there. But when there's other communities that have maybe like 10,000 members, they become so big that the individual that created the group doesn't even communicate with the individual members. And that's something that I never want to happen. I always want to have that connection and that relationship with each and every single one of you. And although it might be more difficult as time goes on, it doesn't mean that it's not possible or that I can't try. And that's what I just wanted to let you guys know. So thank you guys again for everything that is that you guys do. We will be going live, I think today, for our Sunday Stock Talk at around 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as of right now. So that is really just it. Jack can rap. What's going on, brother? Thank you again for those songs. Me and Justin were actually listening to it when we were at Chipotle yesterday. Amazing. So yeah, Del Sol, I like that. Don't be a sheep. Challenge your opinion. I love that. So but again, being respectful with one another. I think that's one of the amazing things about Techbud Solutions is that we're here to assist one another, and but we also, have our own opinions, right? And we're here to network with one another. So let's make sure that we understand that. %. As your channel grows, please remember that, Ricky, you're the reason that we are here, and continue to tune in. And that's something that I value so much, and I am truly blessed to be able to have, right? The amazing support, the amount of direct messages, I can't even respond to the amount of direct messages that I receive within Facebook, Instagram, and Discord anymore. My sole purpose is focusing within Techbud Solutions and Learn Plan Profit. So the best way to communicate with me is to direct message me within Discord. All the other avenues of communication are not even always me, right? I have individuals that almost handle those for me because my focus, again, is my trading community. And everyone else that messages me on every other platform maybe isn't at that point or isn't part of our team. And again, I want to make sure that we keep our team first. So, yeah. So thank you guys again for everything that is that you guys do. Continue working hard, continue following your dreams, let your passion be what drives your success. And I hope that as we approach our Sunday Stock Talks in about 4 hours, that for those that tuned in for this video and that can tune in for the next video, if you guys want to, you guys 100% don't have to. Now you guys have an understanding of the type of structure that we like within the callouts and what type of stocks that we see value in and we don't. So let's just make sure we follow up with that and that we provide good quality info. So thank you guys again, and like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy.